Richard Beginnings, a DPSN video blog.
Hi, my name is Richard Fairgray, and I have met 3 ghosts in my life.
Tell us about Beginnings.
Every story has one, and sometimes stories are episodic and have to have multiple beginnings because sometimes the hero of the story, in this case me, has to realize that it's time to start from scratch and abandon everything and start all over again. A couple of years ago, I looked around at my life, and there was absolutely nowhere for me to go. I was publishing comics in New Zealand, and I was doing pretty well with it. I had 208 books out at the time, and I couldn't do anything new. So after a very depressing weekend, which involved me trying to kill myself by stealing a boat and disappearing at sea and then failing at that, I booked a ticket to LA to just come out here for a few weeks and see what would happen. Everything kind of started falling into place. I was making better work. I was working with more interesting people. There were possibilities for things, and I could see that I had absolutely accomplished a thing yet in my life, and there was all of this room to grow. So I went back to New Zealand, and at the time my best friend and co-writer said to me, "Oh, so you'll be wanting to go back there?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And he said, "Well, I'll really miss you." And we've been working together for 15 years at this point. And I said, "Well, you're meant to come with me on this." And he said, "Well, to be honest, I never wanted us to succeed." So I just decided that I would never work with him again. I was married at the time, and my wife had been with me in LA. I said to her, "I have to live there." And she said, "I could never live there, it's too hot." So without hesitation or even thinking about what this really meant, I just said, "Oh, that's fine, I'll go without you." And surprisingly, my marriage didn't last much longer after that. I decided that I had to just take the plunge and leave New Zealand forever. So I came back to New Zealand for 6 days, packed up what I had left of my meager possessions there, sold off most of the original artwork that I'd ever created, sold off the rest of the books that I'd ever published, and got on a plane and left.
What is it like to begin again?
It's an incredibly freeing feeling to be able to start things from scratch, but it's also hard because it means that I have very little to back myself up with. So it's forcing me to make a lot of work really fast and put a lot more into it. And so I've relaunched Blastosaurus, which was my comic in New Zealand that I lived off, basically. It's a new beginning because it's literally a new beginning of the story. I started the whole thing from scratch and got rid of all of the crap that my ex-co-writer had kind of forced in there because he liked serious grown-up comics and I like silly, fun comics. And it's also a new beginning because I get to see how much a comic can do when there's actually a large audience available. It's such a different energy than what I had in New Zealand. There's no fighting to prove that drawing a dinosaur who fights monsters is a worthwhile thing to do. It's just incredibly freeing.
Why restart Blasto?
I do love Blasto. That's what it comes down to. Is I love him more than probably anybody has ever loved anything or anyone. I didn't like a world where he didn't exist. So I started doing that. I like really fun, stupid things where the rules of reality are really flexible and comics are meant to be fun. And suddenly, all of the new issues of Blasto have names like, "What if the dinosaur fought a robot in issue 1?" And maybe there's like a dog who's actually a monster dog. These are the very well thought out issue titles, which may not make the covers. The new Blastosaurus is launching at WonderCon in Anaheim in March. Follow the Blastosaurus Facebook page to be updated and support me on Patreon and all that kind of shit. And watch me make fun comics.